Wanale Ridge, one of the hidden gems of Mount Elgon, emerges on the horizon like jagged teeth. It is suspended in the air as it is literally perched on the hills that seem to rise and fall and rise again. To get there, a Maram road cuts off the Republic Street in Mbale City, slants, straightens, zigzags, slopes through V-shaped valleys, and then snakes around the jagged hills to far ends of the land. Tucked away atop the hills is Bubensie Parish in Wanale Sub-County in Bungoko County North in Mbale District. Bungoko County North, according to a 2017 Uganda Bureau of Statistics area profile, has a population of 1.7 million. The percentage of school-going children between the ages of 6 and 12 not in school, according to UBOS, in Wanale stood at 12.1%, and 15% between the ages of 18 and 30 are not in school, and child marriages at 9.2%. Badru Naboze, the LC2 chairperson of Bunasioma village in Bubensie, said that nearest secondary school was at least 10 kilometers away.
It's a challenge to us as the people of Wanale, because previously we managed to walk from here up to Mbale district to get education.
All that changed in 2019 when the village was considered for seed secondary school during the first phase of the World Bank-funded Uganda Intergovernmental Fiscal Transfer, or UGIFT program, geared at enhancing service delivery in education, health and water sectors across 146 districts. The Ministry of Education defined seed schools as those implemented in areas where there were previously no schools. The plan, when UGIFT was conceptualized during the financial year 2017-2018, was to construct 232 seed secondary schools.
There are three main objectives of UGIFT. One is to address the issue of equity in the allocation of funds in the local government. It was discovered during the study that government undertook in collaboration with the bank that there were so many grants, and so local governments had little discretion in as far as the utilization of those grants.
Hence came Bubensie Seed Secondary School at an initial cost of 2 billion shillings. Mbale District Local Government, according to project documents seen by NTV, entered into a contract with a local construction company, Bao Technical Services Limited, on April 15, 2019, with a completion timeline of 12 months ending May 8, 2020. The contract provided for 2 classroom blocks, 2 science laboratories, a computer library, a playground, staff quarters, a 5-stance-lined latrine block for boys, a 2-stance-lined latrine for teachers, among other accompaniments. Then a cocktail of technical and contractual issues ensued. Technical issues compounded by torrential rains included blocks of Maram powered downstream by running water severely filling the classrooms and teachers' quarters, rendering them both unusable and unsafe. 4 years later, school authorities cannot say with certainty whether the school was completed or not, except students still pack in the few blocks safe to use as others remain unusable. The science laboratory remains incomplete, and authorities have to inconveniently improvise for practical lessons. The computer laboratory that was supposed to come along with the package is incomplete. Meanwhile, on top of the initial 2 billion shilling project cost, an additional 600 million shillings was spent on constricting this retaining wall to hold back the piles of Maram blocks from slipping away, but its structural integrity is suspect given the fragility of land on which the school sits.
On the hill, so the contractor had to move bulldozers on top and flatten a hill on which he was going to put a school. And this wasn't taken care of in the bills of quantities, according to the report I got. So he did his part which was outside the cost that was expected.
In the same vein, the district requested for an additional 1.8 billion shillings in the new financial year budget starting next month for completion of the school. This means the school project will have cost 4.4 billion shillings, and yet no one can say with certainty whether the blocks will be safe for use after that, given the terrain on which the school sits.
To us, the solution to that school is complex. And it is the reason I communicated to the Ministry of Education and Sports to support us and get us some technical assistance in form of engineers to come and advise on what should be done. Because even the retaining walls will not help. Because the soil runoff is too massive. It comes like in form of mudslide, and it will still cover that place over time. That's the risk we have.
However, investigations by NTV unraveled a bigger problem that cuts across several UGIFT projects across the country. The problem of awarding more than 2 construction tenders to companies whose financial and technical competence is questionable. In the case of Bumbetse Seed School, investigations by NTV showed that Bao Technical Services Limited's contract was irregularly extended on June 5, 2020 from May 8 to November 8, 2020, and yet the request for extension was submitted on March 22, 2020. On February 5, 2021, the completion date was extended from November 29, 2020 to April 29, 2021. And yet the request was submitted on November 11, 2020. A PPDA audit of the project in August 2023 unearthed a catalogue of issues for which it recommended that both the contractor and the district chief finance officer, chief engineer, and internal auditor be reprimanded for the irregular payment of incomplete works. Bao Technical Services Limited's manager, Jonathan Namasa, however, discounted the findings.
The schools are still under liquidation period, which means it is still the responsibility of the company to rectify and get right what is within a certain period of time of 1 year. 1 year. Though we are still asking government to come in and help.
He said they merited the tender through open bidding and some of the issues encountered were beyond them.
The government did do your technical surveys for some of those hilly schools before giving out contracts. Actually, we as a company, we have incurred a lot of losses in trying to do these works. Sometimes we even think that the government wanted to kill local companies because we are really in debt.
The Mbale District Chief Administrative Officer, Luke Lokuda, told NTV that despite some setbacks, all UGIFT projects are on track.
Most of all our projects are complete, at least the ones for last financial year. And the ones for this financial year, we have the resources to complete, and we are going to complete. Like I said, Luaso is one of those. So we don't have any abandoned projects. The only one which is actually abandoned is the Bumbetse.
However, in Bunayo village, in Boagogo sub-county, in Manafwa district, where Bao Technical Services undertook construction of Boagogo Seed School with 1,150 students, the state of affairs is not any better. During a recent visit, we found area leaders up in arms.
Was the project being given to be done in 10 years? So why is it that some other projects are doing well, but particularly on Bao, and one person to get more than getting 8 schools since 2020 up to now?
The village LC3, Matthew Mutambo, accused district authorities of being in cahoots with the company.
We have raised, even the district has come here several times, and these are the supervisors, overall supervisors. But up to now, since he did this, it's now a full year.
What do they tell you?
And they say, when you say, no, he's coming, you see, this man is lazy, this man is what? So we can't see, they cannot even, they are telling us he's lazy, but they cannot terminate him, or they cannot seek advice from the government to terminate him.
At Boagogo Seed School, we identified cracked walls and floors. while the ICT and Science Laboratory are yet to be operationalized. Biotechnical Services Limited delivered the computers in March, officials said, and have been promising since then to return and finalize installation. The contract included a students' playground, which is now feeding ground for cattle. This gentleman, who claimed to have worked for Bao, lamented about delayed payment.
Bao owes me 3.8 million shillings. I worked for the company as a guard, but for 2 years they keep taking me in circles. To the best of my knowledge, the project is not yet complete.
At Sibanga Seed School, with 300 students in Chibikanyo village in Sibanga sub-county, also in Manafwa, the school is outwardly complete amid a cocktail of issues such as the ICT laboratory and science laboratory, which are yet to be operationalized. The Manafwa district LC5 Hosea Chigai said they are alive to the issues at hand.
What we learned, we came to learn that contractor, I think, had so many projects, projects not only in the region, because I hear he has some in Namisindwa, he has some in Mbali, and maybe some in Soronko. So I think he has been having difficulty in completing these projects in time.
Chigai said they continue to engage the company.
The cracks which we saw even the other time when we were with the Minister Ogwang, Peter, we went there. There are some cracks which we see. These ones genuinely should be corrected. Some of them he corrected, and some, which we saw that they can be, in fact, most of them we say we tasked him to come and correct the cracks which were there.
Far away in Bukakala village in Mukoto sub-county, tucked away atop the hills of Namisindwa district, Mukoto Seed School with 650 students, also undertaken by Bao Technical Services, project appears abandoned. School officials who requested anonymity indicated that works are ongoing, albeit slowly, while district authorities have remained quiet about the state of affairs. The Assistant Commissioner for Physical Decentralization in the Ministry of Finance, Joseph Majanga, under whose docket the U-Gift project is supervised, said despite isolated cases of incompetence and stalled or slowed works, the project has been largely successful.
Had original U-Gift and additional financing, but after 1 year of implementation, it was noted that it was very, very crucial and was yielding results. So additional financing came on board. The original gift was $200 million. Then after 1 year, the additional financing of $300 million came on board. Out of the $300 million, $60 million was a grant, and that grant was specifically earmarked to handle refugee interventions. So in total, the loan is 440, and then the grant of 60, making a total of $500 million.
He has, however, admitted cases of abandoned sites, which they have tried to remedy.
There were a lot of challenges that delayed the construction. Now, you are aware that we operate a budget which is what we call appropriation. So what happens is that once appropriation expires and you've not finished construction, that money goes back to the CF, the Consolidated Fund, and you're supposed to ask for supplementary for you to get back that money to finish what you have not finished. Now what happens is that some local governments take long, for example, to requisition for supplementary. And when they take long, you know that a supplementary is not approved by this ministry. It's supposed to be appropriated by Parliament. Now when they take long to submit, we definitely cannot submit to Parliament. So when they take long, then we also take long to submit to Parliament, and then Parliament takes long to appropriate. Now in that process, unfortunately, some contractors who did not have adequate capacity were not able to complete the facility.
According to the Ministry of Finance records, 117 seed schools and 124 health center projects were handed out during U-Gift Phase 1, 115 schools during Phase 2, 27 schools in Phase 3. Several addendums were signed adding more school or health center projects. Besides the routine corruption in tendering, sources close to the project cited the awarding of contractors more than 1, 3, or more construction projects coupled with lax supervision. The 117 school projects handed out in Phase 1 were undertaken by 17 companies, with most contractors undertaking an average of 6 projects at a time. By contrast, 25 companies were engaged on 115 projects during Phase 2.
Under Phase 1, the scope, for example, for a school, a seed school, did not have, for example, a hall, did not have some of the things that came on board with Phase 2. So there were a few cases that people complained about inadequate allocation. But what is very important and key is that by the time they go into the contracting, they were already aware of how much the project is. And so there shouldn't be an issue. We follow up on what these other institutions do. All right, we do, every quarter we're supposed to do what we call joint monitoring. And this joint monitoring has all the implementing MDAs.
However, several U-Gift construction projects have been the subject of probes by PPDA, Inspectorate of Government, Police, and the State House Anti-Corruption Unit over, among others, graft claims, shoddy or abandoned works, cost overruns, among other issues. A host of issues are illuminated in the probe reports. A July 2021 IG probe report of several projects documented slow works owing to lack of capacity by the contractors to effectively handle all the sites at the same time. For instance, PPDA detailed in a March 2024 audit that Otuke District local government officials engaged Mesco Limited to construct Okum Seed School at 2.6 billion shillings on December 22, 2022, with a completion timeline of 18 months and a defects liability period of 12 months. A site visit conducted on 18 August 2023 by the audit team revealed that the works on the 3 2-unit classroom blocks, 3 twin staff houses, 2 units teacher's kitchen, 2 stance line VIP latrine block, 2 stance line VIP latrine block for staff house, 5 stance line VIP latrine block for boys, 5 stance line VIP latrine block for girls, and the rainwater harvest system with 5,000-litre water tank had all not commenced, PPDA noted in a March 2024 report. In Dokolo District, authorities engaged Akol Holdings Limited for construction of Okwongo Dul Lakeside Secondary School at a cost of 650 million shillings. A May 2024 PPDA audit of the project noted the slow progress of works and expiry of the contract with the company on September 19, 2023. And the entity did not put in any effort to have the contract extended before its expiry, despite the works being incomplete. This contract is thus void, and the terms and conditions of the contract are no longer enforceable.
Key to note is that to date, out of the $500 million, we have received $324 million that World Bank has released fully to government. We have a balance of 171, which has been incorporated through the restructuring process, and that will be released during the remaining extended period of the program.
With the project set to close next year, the Ministries of Finance and Education are working around the clock to ensure full absorption of the World Bank finances for the project that was aimed at ensuring adequacy and equity of fiscal transfers and improving fiscal management of resources by local governments for health and education services. However, such cases of shoddy works, cost overruns, leave a bitter taste as they affect service delivery